Right now on Capitol Hill, 2 hearings on efforts to fight rampant fraud. Republicans are digging deeper into the abuse of taxpayer money across the nation. So far, billions of dollars in fraudulent payments have been uncovered across federal and state agencies. And Republicans say they're just getting started. This is Outnumbered. We're just getting started, too. I'm Harris Faulkner, here with my co-hosts, Kayleigh McEnany and Emily Campagno. Also joining us today, Marie Harf, Fox News contributor and former State Department spokesperson under President Obama, and Griff Jenkins, co-host of Fox and Friends Weekend. Republicans on the DOJ subcommittee are turning up the heat on state leaders who are refusing to comply with fraud investigations. They are vowing to punish those responsible for abusing the $100 billion federal food stamps program. Meanwhile, while the House Commerce Committee is grilling Medicaid officials who are in the hot seat right now from states like California and New York about fraud that's happening on their watch.
We can no longer tolerate criminals taking advantage of the Medicaid system. Fraud is not and should not be the cost of doing business. It is preventable, and we have a duty to help rein it in. It is no longer sufficient to do the bare minimum. Our Medicaid program and the patients that rely on that to be healthy each and every day of their lives, they depend on it.
The Trump administration has been dismantling the criminal networks which are taking advantage of food stamps programs. And now the White House is revealing another culprit responsible for billions of dollars in waste. The Department of Agriculture says improper food stamps payments cost American taxpayers more than $10 billion just last year alone, making up more than 10% of the program's entire budget. Kayleigh.
It's amazing. It feels as if, and it is as if, every government program is riddled with fraud. And it's not just SNAP, which you went through there. It is Medicaid, which we've gone through. It's childcare, which we've gone through. It's foreign student visas. It's also student loans. It's COVID. These programs are easy to scan. My favorite that was scammed is the Shuttered Operations Venue program. This was a line item grant during COVID that was supposed to help movie theaters that were struggling. Well, guess what? $10 billion in improper payments, nearly 70% of the program. Okay, and that's not the Paycheck Protection Program, the big COVID program. That is one small program during COVID, where there are government dollars, there are fraudsters taking your money at exorbitant and huge rates. And the Republican Party is so smart to have been on this. To me, it's one of the single best things the Trump White House has done from the beginning with DOJ, turning that into the fraud task force with the vice president. Every week they are on this. We cover the press conferences, the arrest, the use of AI to find these fraudsters. It is smart to be on this. And I can't figure out why Democrats don't try to do something similar at the state level. In fact, when I spoke to our brain room and had them do a search of AOC, Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, and J.B. Pritzker, 2028 contenders, and they put their names in with California, Minnesota, Newsom, Walz, fraud, feeding our future, Medicaid, and hospice, it turned up 0 results for any of those presidential contenders talking about fraud. We've heard about it from Newsom in a political context to attack the president, and Walz because it's unavoidable. But those 4 have not mentioned one word about an issue that I believe is one of the single biggest.
So it's so interesting because coming out of COVID, movie theaters, people may wonder, well, why did we even have funding for that? They were really hurting because people hadn't been getting together in closed spaces like that. So much of that money that could have helped some of those businesses, we don't even know where it went.
And it's a zero-sum game. Every dollar that goes to a fraudster does not go to an American taxpayer who is deserving of it.
So, Emily, I want to come to you next because you touched on something yesterday, and I just want you to have enough time to feather out the foster care. Yeah, can you talk more about that?
I was just thinking about that. And in part, so may I begin by saying it's so disheartening as an American taxpayer and someone who loves this country to have seen my fellow Americans torch Tesla dealerships and set them on fire for daring to find efficiency in the government. And somehow, though, it's like if the perp is a government employee, that makes it okay and they have to be insulated, not only from accountability whatsoever, not only just from sunlight, but also from accountability. But somehow if they're not an employee, then that's okay, albeit notwithstanding fighting the certain governors to even make that happen. So I don't understand that disconnect. And then the thing that further disheartens me, especially as you played the clip earlier, are those congressmen and women, those senators who have been in seats forever, for frankly decades, and yet we still haven't seen, for example, a law against adopting a foster child. There's no law against adopting a child strictly for sexual trafficking. Why is that? Why is there no law against that? Why have there been so many people testifying in Congress begging to have Medicare funds be separated from foster care allocations so that the kids will get it? Nothing happens.
Yeah.
Why am I still fighting to have vet care given to medically retired working canines? Why is Congress at a standstill? We are learning that there is hemorrhaging by the billions at the state and federal level. And yet working class Americans, ordinary Americans, men and women in service uniforms can't get meals that they need. Kids can't get protection. Infants are in detention centers without a chaperone because there's no one to help them. Foster kids are currently in detention centers. 13 states of the 50 have foster kids in prisons, essentially, because they have no other homes for them. Like, the results or the stats are too staggering for this hour and for me to even present cogently, clearly. But that's why this is heartbreaking. The fights over the fraud and normal, hardworking, ordinary Americans can't get meals, can't get safety, kids can't get taken care of. It's a calamity. It's tragic.
I think you did it cogently, pretty clear.
I'm babbling because I'm fired up. But
I do think, Marie, this is going to take governors, though. And I think about Governor Landry down in Louisiana. When I sat with him, we did a live show down at a historically black university, Southern, last year, for Black History Month, and he joined me on set, and he said, you know, we doged my state. You know, they did this on their own as state leadership, and it really does work. And there has been this push against finding fraud. Everybody should be stepping up at the plate right now if your name gets called. What's your take?
Sure. I think, look, I am all for getting rid of fraud in government programs. And I think there have been, to Emily's point, in Congress, Democrats and Republicans who represent areas with fraud who have not done anything about it. I do think it's interesting that these Republican-led committees tend to focus on Democratic-led states.
Republicans are doing their job.
That is true.
That's
Why
not
true,
true,
Kaylee. I think, look, there are politics at work here. I would also, there's two other things I would say. First, if Republicans in Congress care so much about Medicaid and working people who need it getting it, why did their one big beautiful bill cut $1 trillion from Medicaid to fund tax breaks for the wealthy? Why between 5 and 15 million Americans are going to lose their Medicaid? People with disabilities, people who are caretakers. So if we're going to talk about whether these government programs work, fraud is only part of it. And the thing I would say about DOGE, we're looking back now on the legacy of DOGE. It's coming into clearer relief now that we've had some time. Just one of their actions, getting rid of USAID, shuttering USAID.
Yeah, did you see how many people came into office in countries across Central and South America who had been kept out, who were on the right? It gave a rise to people to have more politics representation in their country.
Let me finish my sentence.
Because a lot of that money was going to the socialists and the communist
By independent analysis.
Doesn't matter if you yell at me, you can't erase that fact.
But you know what? I'll give you a fact. Based on independent analysts, hundreds of thousands of people around the world, because of the shuttering of USAID, have died because of infectious diseases that are preventable or malnutrition. The Ebola crisis, which we dealt with when I was in government.
There is no line of fact or evidence on what you're saying.
So
That's
much
your opinion.
That is not an opinion. Independent experts who study infectious diseases.
You don't think our FDA commissioner would have anything to say? You don't think the CDA?
I am telling you, there are people dying from diseases around the world that USAID used to prevent, and because it was shuttered and people aren't getting medicine, the Ebola crisis right now, when we fought it in the Obama administration.
And you know, we jumped in and helped them, which is why it's not on fire right now.
It is absolutely on fire right now, and it's spreading faster.
Let's give Griff a chance to talk.
Let me just finish my sentence, though. DOGE had consequences for real people. They did not cut the amount of waste fraud they promised they would, and people around the world are hurting because of it. How many consequences
do you think the actual fraud has? Which is why I'm saying that some of these blue state governors and leadership have got to jump on the... Call Tim Walz and say, jump right in.
Republicans use the fraud claim to
You and I could debate all day long. We've done it for years.
So let me hop in here, though, because you're taking it back to DOGE and USAID. Well,
that's part of it.
But Emily was asking the important questions, and I would add one more to that list, and that is, why did it take an independent journalist to literally go into a Leering Center to open up the floodgates to go across Medicaid and all of these programs? And now you have Congress taking action, and it for the life of me, I can't understand why this isn't a bipartisan issue that you are going to go eradicate fraud. Put those numbers up again if you can about the SNAP program, right? The USDA, right? 10 billion, more than 10%. There is a threshold of about 5 to 6% of any government program that you don't go prosecuting people. You try and sort it out. Where were the lawmakers of both parties when it got up to 6% watching this in the SNAP program, which is a pretty straightforward program? It's been around. I just think that, you know, the politicization of prosecuting fraud makes absolutely no damn sense.
And where's AOC, Buttigieg, Pritzker? It's nice for you to have one sentence
none
about
of them
fraud.
are going to be our nominee in 2028.
They're not. Kamala Harris? I mean, she's number one.
I would bet you $1 million that Kamala Harris will
But
not
they
be our
have
nominee.
jobs right now, except for her.
Kayleigh's taking that bet.
Discuss that in the break.
Kamala Harris doesn't have a job right now. People could argue she didn't have one when she had the title VP. We still can't figure out what she was doing. But those people have jobs. That's why I said these governors like Pritzker, they could jump in on this and really be a help. But instead, they block this administration. The Democrat Party facing a reckoning after more primary victories by Democrat socialists. Here we go. One Jewish incumbent we know was kicked out is warning his party the far-left anti-Israel platform that appears to be winning is veering dangerously toward anti-Semitism. Well, it's there. We'll be right back.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kayleigh McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.